Yo, in today's video, we'll be looking at creepy woke TikToks that will make you question reality. But first, we want to give a thanks to our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by DIYOJ. DIYOJ is your leader for custom jerseys and apparel. They've got baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, football jerseys, they've got shorts, anything you can think of, and there's tons of designs for you to choose from. They're completely customizable. As you see, I've got mine right here. Let you know who I am, Right7X, and on the back you could put your name. I chose to let you guys know. Subscribe to the channel. But yeah, don't forget to click the link down below. Right7X is my code. You'll get 10% off. Now let's get to the video.
Last video got muted. Man, y'all tell me in the comments about this all-white party, man. I'm about to show y'all some shocking news, man. This was a guy by the name the Fat Jewish Guy at the all-white party.
Whoa.
Y'all tell me what y'all think, man.
You got his name on the back?
Down, man. I mean, it's no coincidence, man. Like I said, man. Look at these men's faces, bro. Pay attention. Do y'all think the masculation is real and it's happening? What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow. Follow my Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
Look at this, and this is a hologram in the sky. If you didn't know that holograms were real, you'd think this was the actual thing. Like, imagine seeing this in the sky in like the 60s. Yo, hologram technology is next level.
Hey guys, Ben Barlow, Your Rights, Your Life. This is part 2 of how they trapped us into Admiralty Maritime Law. I want you to consider everything is a shipping war in commerce. And they've trapped us into Admiralty Maritime Law, which is commerce and contracts. So think of all of us as vessels, ships. And so as a vessel, your mother, being pregnant, had to go to the hospital. It's not a hospital. I want you to consider it a port. She's going to the hospital. In it being a port has to have a dock tender. Well, the doctor is the dock tender. The only one that is considered a doctor is the one that receives babies. All others are considered physicians and specialists. So your mother pulls up to the hospital, pulls up to the port to birth her ship, B-E-R-T-H. As she births her ship, the child is tugged through the birth canal, as in a tugboat by the doctor, tugs through the birth canal, received by the dock tender as a cargo. The nurses come up to the mother. They have a handful of papers for the mother to sign. They are creating what's called a bill of lading. That is, the cargo needs a bill of lading so that they can determine what the cargo is. The mother is now signing as an informant to the cargo that is delivered. An informant, just like let's say an informant that would inform the police about a drug dealer. The same thing plays in here. Your mother is informing on you to return you to the possession of the United States. So as she informs on you, the doctor has now received you as the dock tender. He signs right below her. She is the informant, he is the doctor, and then who comes in behind them is a registrar. The registrar signs underneath the doctors. You can look at your birth certificates, it's all on there. And then what happens as he is registering the cargo, that it was received, that it is live. So what happens next is they take the placenta and the soul plates. The child has their feet stamped onto the live certificate of birth, but it's not soul plates as in S-O-L-E, what you and I would think it is. It's S-O-U-L, the actual soul, the spirit. The soul plates and the placenta is then cast out to sea as if dead until it returns to claim its minor estate. We're going to go into part 3 in a minute.
Yo.
See you soon.
Do you believe in aliens? A whistleblower that works for the United States Department of Defense just came out and he testified in front of Congress that the government does have UFOs that crash landed and they also recovered the bodies of the aliens that were piloting the ships.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on.
There was a time when believing in aliens was taboo. This was not too long ago, maybe 2009. But you fast forward to now, everybody believes in aliens. I used to believe in aliens in the way that they portray them to us, but I don't anymore. For one, I learned about the firmament, the giant dome created to keep the waters above us separate from the waters below. Nothing can go in or out of the firmament. This is why every rocket that we see that gets launched into the sky, it ends up curving because it can't go through the firmament. So the idea of us having this firmament, but there are alien ships in universes far away and galaxies far away that can fly here and come land on Earth doesn't make any sense if you do believe in the firmament. I started to believe that aliens were being pushed onto us. It was this show right here, Ancient Aliens, on the History Channel, that made me start to think that. I always talk about how everything that we get taught is a lie. The tools that they use to teach us these lies are the education system, news, and television programming, and entertainment. If they're pushing that aliens are real on this show on the History Channel and on the news, they own both of them, then that means they want us to believe that the aliens are real. Because if they wanted it to be a secret, they wouldn't be telling us that they're real. Tell me what you think about this. So in 1987, the 40th president of the United States, Ronald Reagan, gave a speech. In the speech, he says, would it take an alien threat from outside of this world to make us all come together?
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Has anybody ever seen the show Watchmen? I believe it's on HBO. They only had one season and then they canceled it. But that's exactly what was going on in the show Watchmen. There was about to be a war, and what they did was created an alien threat. So Mr. Manhattan, who was an alien, you know, this guy with superpowers, blew up a bunch of, like, he set off a bunch of nuclear bombs across the world, and then everyone came together because of the alien threat of Dr. Manhattan, who was actually just a human. But it kind of makes sense, don't it?
I understand that their goal, and when I say they, I'm talking about the people that own all the major corporations, the banking system that own everything, that really run the world. Their goal is a one world government. Could it be that they're planning a fake alien invasion to usher in this new one world government? I think a large percentage of the population didn't fall for the Corona California thing, so they're upping it.
Uh-oh. The clone froze. Look at him. Malfunction. My man's is like 100 years old. Look, he don't even know where he at. What y'all think happened here? He a robot, a clone? He just old? Which one?
I didn't want to tell you this, but I have no choice. All-Star Weekend in Toronto. Steph Curry, he says, Kevin, come here. He lifts up his arm. The man had mechanical shit in his arm. Wires and shit. He's a robot. He's not real.
I can't get over this shit. What is the coach telling Steph Curry in the huddle? Okay, Steph, get the ball, do what you do, let it go from half. I've never seen a player with the ability to do what this man is doing. He's shooting from wherever the fuck he chooses to, man.
Yo. Never twice in a row. 3 times. Quit playing. These mubs out here, robots? Or are we watching a video game? What y'all think, man? Is it just because they're all NBA
plastic powder? But what if the next alternative was made out of plastic? There's new research that could make it a reality.
All right, Stacey Delcat talked to a scientist about the process that could help fight hunger and pollution.
Food shortages are worsening around the world, and the plastic pollution crisis continues to intensify.
How are food shortages worsening around the world when you can go to the poorest neighborhood in any city and everyone will be obese? Everyone's overweight. How is there a food shortage? I don't believe in that. I ain't buying that one.
What if there was one solution to both of these problems? A Michigan scientist thinks there could be.
What we're trying to do is to use microbes to take plastic and other inedible plant material and turn that into something that's nutritious.
The idea is to turn components of plastic into protein and other nutrients like fats and sugars. If that sounds kind of gross to you, well,
I don't want to eat plastic either. What we're trying to do is to take that plastic and turn it into something completely different.
You've heard of plant-based protein powder, but what if the next alternative?
For this video, I'm going to go over mind control and different techniques and different devices that they have to achieve it. My last video, I went over extraterrestrial knowledge. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. So first thing is that they have something called voice-to-skull technology. A voice-to-skull device is a non-lethal weapon which includes a neuroelectromagnetic device which uses microwave transmission of sound into the skull of persons or animals by way of pulse-modulated microwave radiation. Also, it's a silent sound device which can transmit sound into the skull of person or animals. Note, the sound modulation may be voice or audio subliminal messages. One application of V2K is used as an electronic scarecrow to frighten birds in the vicinity of airports.
Yo, that's these phones. That's what these cell phones doing to us at night. They programming us and they sending messages to our brain. You know what I mean? And that's how they program certain people. That's what I believe. I mean, they've got the technology to do it. Why aren't they doing it? I mean, McDonald's did just say that they'd be programming you to, they'd be sending ads to you in your dreams. So when you're sleeping, they're going to be sending McDonald's ads to you. So when you wake up, you can go get you a McGriddle or something, or a steak bagel.
This kind of goes hand in hand with the frequency of music, the frequency of the radio, the frequency of TV, and how they throw subliminal messages out to basically influence one's mind. Also, you have something called trauma-based mind control, where one may induce trauma on another in a way of either psychological torture, physical torture, etc. And after the trauma has been induced, basically the victim can be brainwashed into doing a horrific act, etc. Next, you have the MK Ultra project, which many know about. They would basically test people with drugs like LSD, etc. to basically brainwash them and also program them to do specific things. MK Naomi is also another code name for mind control.
Never heard of
this. The movie The Manchurian Candidate basically gives you a lot of information and breakdown on mind control. The movie was about soldiers that were kidnapped and brainwashed for sinister purposes. One scene in the movie, this guy, he received a phone call and basically he was programmed by what the person on the phone was saying. I don't want to say too much, but when you see a lot of them shootings in the news, just think critically. Mind control is done every day, every second, literally through our TVs, through our phones, through the radio, through the music, etc. And it's all been done through frequency. Frequency is powerful. Fear also correlates with mind control, which is why the mainstream always push fear. Hope y'all enjoyed this breakdown.
Man, that's crazy how they just control our thoughts and everything.
Is this what you're talking about right here?
What's this?
I got this cool app on my phone too. I like how you can zoom in and do like the 3D and look at the city and everything. But my issue is that when you zoom out and you go into outer space, this Earth that we live on turns into a cartoon. This is a cartoon now. Where's the real Earth? Oh, that's right. Space ain't a real place. That's why this camera doesn't go into outer space. In fact, I'm going to show you right now where these images come from.
It's not that they wouldn't use the magical floating satellites if they could. It's that they don't physically exist, nor does the globe. They have been sending these up one at a time since it all began. I will allow them to explain it.
It's also the genesis for NASA's newly developed super pressure balloon.
The reason for super pressure balloon is they have absolutely stable altitude, day, night, and it doesn't matter how cold the atmosphere is. They are sealed.
So your shape is always the same, you always displace the same amount of air, and therefore you have the same amount of buoyancy all the time.
NASA's been using balloons for science research for over 30 years. The exploration that can be done on balloons is continuing to grow. The standard balloon that I fly is about 660 feet long when it's made.
So let me get this straight. It is now public knowledge that they send up satellites on massive helium-filled balloons. As you should know, NASA is the largest consumer of helium in the world, for obvious reasons. But the issue with society is that they never critically think.
Never.
Just think for a second here. If these are sent up to provide the world with all of the important information we need, and I'm sure the entire process is expensive and difficult to accomplish, then please explain to me what in the flat world do these pathetic animations do for you? Do they make you happy inside? Are they so super duper cool that you cannot see past the obvious CGI? The fact of the matter is everything NASA sends up on a balloon simply hovers above our motionless Earth. That is why they rarely speak about orbiting satellites, and of course, they never show footage. Here is some footage of a random evening with a man, the moon, and his Nikon P900. Notice anything floating up there?
Like one of them balloons with the satellite, don't it?
Forget it, Bart. It's so bright out you can't see anything in the sky except the Fox satellite.
And then every now and then these satellites come crashing down. They fall out of the sky with those helium balloons attached to them all over the world. But you don't hear about it because you likely get your information from mainstream media. And I'm going to tell you why that's a bad idea. The same people that own the news are the same people that are perpetuating this hoax, all right? If you want the truth, you got to find it yourself.
Oh, snap. What's that? I didn't even see it at first. Y'all see those discs? Yo, what's that? I ain't never seen nothing like that before.
Everything they teach you in school is a lie. You want
Facts.
the truth? The world is controlled by shadowy elites and shape-shifting lizard people.
So matey, you better be ready to do whatever. Just be fucking on whoever, just be sucking on whoever. No morals can't exist, you gon' be worshiping the devil. And even if you say
No wonder the world's so sexualized right now. We know who in charge.
you gotta sell your soul or be labeled the next rebel. Sacrifice someone or be sacrificed. Who you gonna choose? You think you ready to give a life? Most of these artists scared they wouldn't dare write shit like this. I'm way too enlightened to keep this shit all within. Cause everything we thought was real is really fake. And everything we thought was fake, it really ain't. We been lied to. Everything we think is upright. Then you find out, then you find out that the shit rigged and you think it's right.
Here's another conspiracy theory. You've seen all the grainy footage of nuclear test blasts that you've
Sure.
with the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and these little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Yeah. Okay. So here's the question, right? So what happened? Okay. So this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
Right.
You son of a bitch.
How is that happening yet the camera is like totally stable and fine?
Oh my
This
God.
is probably
By the way,
like
and the film is fine. The radiation didn't cause any damage to the film.
Oh my God.
By the way, okay, we'll do this one. We'll do the loop one more time here. Let's see the car.
The car got behind the house. It just showed up.
Oh,
okay.
it just showed up.
So wait a minute. First of all,
it wasn't there.
First of all, where'd the car
no
come
car.
from?
No car.
The second is, does it really look like
car?
A real, does that look like a real car?
That's insane.
Is that a house or is that like is that a 12-inch scale model?
Yeah, that's a little scale model. That's what I'm saying.
There's also the camera didn't move at all either.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the smoke is too big. Watch when it hits. Like the volume, like the size of it, it looks small.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like we're looking at something that's like a few inches tall.
If you watch like making of Star Wars, any of the any movies before CGI, whenever they do anything like that, it's always with these tiny models.
Yes. Yeah, this looks fake as shit.
Let's get another one. It's like, okay, what the camera's fine.
Super fake.
That's hilarious.
I never thought about that before. These robots about to take over.
These are all real, by the way.
We're about to have the Terminator out here in like the next 10 years, y'all. I mean, I would hire one of these mubs to cook me some stuff. That he could be my chef. Freaking Tesla.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
What y'all think? Y'all think it's alien? Extraterrestrial?
Admiralty Maritime
Hey guys,
Law.
Ben Barlow, Your Right, Your Life. This is part 3 as to how they trapped us into Admiralty Maritime Law. So we already know that the baby was born. It was the placenta, the blood of the placenta, and the soul plates, S-O-U-L, as in the spirit, the soul, was cast out to sea as dead until it returns to claim its minor estate. This is how they trapped us through that contract that your mother signed. You are the cargo was received, and now you went from sovereign to citizen, because as soon as what happened is they sent that bill of lading out, then in return, when you received the birth certificate, you'll notice that there was a stamp date on that birth certificate. So on the birth certificate was your mother's name, your father's name, the time that you were born, the name, your family given name. My name is Ben Thomas Barlow, so my family name is Ben. My given name is Ben, my family name is Thomas, my last name is Barlow, and when you got that birth certificate back, it had a stamp date. What you've got to understand is that stamp date was when they turned you into a citizen, and the citizen is just a corporation entity that they created in your all caps name. So as you look at your mail, when you get junk mail, it's upper and lowercase. When you get anything that has to do anything with money, billing, The judicial system, anything in the court comes to you in your all caps name. That is the vessel or the corporation, the entity that they created. That entity is not you. It's the fictitious you that they are coming after that is trapped under Admiralty Maritime Law. Because keep in mind, in the judicial system, a corporation cannot sue a man, and a man cannot sue a corporation. They have to be of like kind, corporation to corporation or man to man. Man being mankind has nothing to do with gender. So by taking us out of the status of sovereign man or woman and turning us into little entity corporations, this is how these corporations can come after us, trap us in billing cycles, all kinds of other stuff. This is how the court system comes after us. They're coming after our entity and the trust that you guys don't know about yet that I'll go into in a part 4. The trust that is in our name, that you can find out exactly how much money is in your trust. Everyone has their own individual trust. It's called the Sesta QV Trust. And it is actually bought and sold on the stock market every single day. Every single person has their own individual Sesta QV Trust. Every participating United Nations has.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, I need to know how to get out of this Admiral Maritime Law and find out what my Sesta QV Trust is. You know, I might be balling out here and not even know it.
We're gonna have to talk about this. For everyone that doesn't know, this is TikToker Pinky Doll. She has recently set the world on fire, technically, you know, the TikTok live world on fire, with her own variation of the AI trend. Accumulated thousands of dollars. Mostly a lot of people literally got the AI trend from her and started mimicking it and started making their own money from it. Originally, allegedly, she used the AI trend to help promote her Smex work. Smex work is awesome. Trust me, we support Smex workers over here. The world needs y'all. Shouts out to y'all. But here's where it gets a little tricky. The young lady is 28 years old, and she had that she was 19 years old in her bio. And then you're thinking, well, how's that a big deal? Because then you find out from her own tweet, she pretends to be a 15-year-old girl on her Twitter, the same Twitter that promotes her Smex work. And not only that, on TikTok, while she faked being a 19-year-old, Timberland was her #1 viewer. What are y'all thoughts, man?
Pedo. That's my thought.
Network here. And they kind of freaked everybody out, and they were asking questions about you.
That's J&K.
And of course, now I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, he goes, I don't know how to describe them except for extremely odd looking. They were the exact same height, they were wearing the exact same clothes, and they had the exact same faces, like they were twins. And he said they were wearing black suits, black trench coats. They were wearing like the old-fashioned Federo hats. They had extremely, extremely pale skin. And he said they came in and they asked for you. And I said, I'm sorry, he's actually not working today. And it seemed like they didn't believe me, so they started to walk around the hotel, and shortly after they went to the tour desk. But he goes, they freaked me out, and I really wanted to tell you that there were these weird guys in here looking for you. So, of course, now I'm a little bit skeptical and I'm a little bit freaked out all at the same time. So the first thing I do is I run into my security office and I rewound the cameras. And sure enough, here comes two gentlemen through the front door looking exactly how he described. Then the next day, I was talking with my tour desk, and one of them asked to talk to me. She came in my office, the same as my bellman, and she said, I heard that you heard that there were some men looking for you. And she said, they asked a few questions about you, and they said strange things that I didn't understand. And they were talking about governments and conspiracies, and none of it made any sense to me. But she goes, they were very, very scary. She said they had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, nothing. Their hair looked like they had a wig on, like it was attached to their hat, like it wasn't even real. And she said, and the scariest thing, their eyes were so big and so blue that they almost hypnotized me a little bit. And she goes, and you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I swear they knew what I was thinking. And she started to cry, and she said one more thing before she left. She said, these men, they didn't blink. Not once did I see them blink.
What y'all think about the Men in Black? I guess the Men in Black is real, you know, they out here scaring people. What? That's the first time I've actually seen footage of the Men in Black. But yeah, guys, these are some of the most creepy woke TikToks that will make you question reality. Don't forget to click the link down in the description to get your custom jersey. And if you like the content, subscribe, turn your notification bell on. And until next time, YouTube, peace.